thinking about personal life, and we've talked about personal and professional some, that you really work hard to be able to create space for what your personal life is, whether it's family, things that you enjoy outside of family, like personal self-fulfilling pieces of hobbies, anything like that. How do you make sure to make time for the work that you're doing in your career and the work that you're doing for the person that you are? Uh, Donna, would you like to kick us off this time?
Sure, no problem. Um, I would say like every morning I start off and it's basically my husband's time and our dog's time. And our dogs take us for a walk to the park every morning, bright and early. And we spend about an hour up and down Central Park, up and down the hills. And that's when my husband and I kind of use that time to, if, we're venting from something the day before, it could be work related. It might be something the kids are doing that we're frustrated, but we have that hour of just breathing in the fresh air and just enjoying the views and being dragged around the park with our three crazy dogs. And then we just kind of vent it out. And so then, we come back home, everything's great, dogs are tired out and I'm ready to start my day all vibrated and full of energy.
Yeah,
And then as
you
far as
really make a place for connection to
I
start your
do. We do. So that's kind of our time just, for the two of us alone. And then we still do a lot of we usually try like Friday nights, we try to get the kids to all kind of come on home and do like a family dinner and we do board game nights. And that's been fun because now as they've got like the boyfriends and girlfriends, and so our board game entourage is getting bigger. It's getting harder to all fit around the long table.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But we just spend some time like that. And it's a great, chance to kind of catch up and hey, how is everybody's doing? And some good bonding and stuff there. So that's some of my favorite times.
Yeah. How do you feel like that is when you're saying you really are, when you're at home, and you're at work, you're at work? Are there specific boundaries or things that you have in mind that you've drawn out to be able to make that clear distinction? And how does that work for you?
Well, the last 4 years, I've had the opportunity of working from home. Since COVID, with California being one of those states that was open, closed, and closed more than open, we finally got to a point where we realized, we're very efficient, everybody working from home. And we're such a big company and spread out in different states anyways. So that made it easy. And I just make sure I'm in a back room, the door's closed off, and they pretty much know when the door's closed, I'm working. My time's going there. I'll come out when it's my break time or meal time or something, but I completely separate it from there. And when work is done, the end of the day at 5:30, the phone doesn't, with emails, doesn't come out. It gets put away, and it's my family time. We're cooking dinner. We might be going off to the gym. We're just doing our own family stuff together. So that's how I kind of keep it separate.
Yeah, I love that. I love hearing everyone's different techniques and what really works. I've heard about baskets by the front door to like leave a cell phone in, or, leave it somewhere, but whatever those pieces are where you make you acknowledge something that needs to take place in order for you to be present where you need to be present. So
Yeah.
that's great. Toby, what about you? What is your work and life and finding that strive or that balance and giving time to yourself look like?
Yeah, I think it's really messy, and I don't have perfect solutions. I have four kids, as I mentioned. Two of those are toddlers, 2 and 3. So we're kind of in the throes of all hands on deck taking care of toddlers. So um, it's not as easy as it maybe was with just my older two. I was also a single mom for a few years, so I definitely understand how difficult it is for single moms as well. When I was coming up through marketing and head of marketing, I had two little kids and was a single mom for 3 years. So I've never really had a great solution, to be honest with you. What I've been I work hard and I mom hard, and I'm a very present mom, and I try to be at everything, and sometimes I can't be. And I've got a really great partnership with my ex-husband. And so there's really four of us raising my family of four, even the little ones. Sometimes it's my ex-husband and his wife that are helping out the little ones. So we're all just in it together. And I think having good support structures, everything from daycare to my ex-partner and my husband, who's wonderful now. So we just make it work. One thing I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to be more selfish with my time. I've always been really good about open door I'm available all the time, and I found that I don't have time to get my work done. So I'm trying to be a little more selfish and blocking off significant amounts of time in my day throughout the week, a few significant blocks, because I used to be really good about working at home, but I can't do that with the babies. It just doesn't work. So that's been helpful to me in making sure I've just got focused time that I protect on the calendar. And then I'm an early riser, so I'm typically up every morning for a couple hours doing work before everybody else is up. And that's the best way that for me that it works to be on top of my emails or focused on a big project for a couple hours of time before the kids are starting to get up, and then I switch into mom mode for an hour or two before I go to the office. So I have a very fluid lifestyle. It's you know, when I hang up from here, I'm headed to take my little girl to a doctor appointment today, and we're at parent teacher conference this afternoon. And then sometimes I'm at home and I'm logging in and doing some work. So it's more just how I'm blocking and tackling any given day and just trying to be fluid. But when I am with my kids, I try to be as present as possible, and my husband as well. And I think that's just something we have to constantly strive to be better at. That it's really important. And when I am in my meetings with whoever I'm meeting with, I'm also making conscious effort to be present with them, because I can be pretty quick, like, oh, make sure my kids aren't calling or I'm doing this or that, and try to be present with whoever I'm at.
Yeah, I agree. I think that sounds familiar to me. We have 6-year-old and 3-year-old, and 2 little girls. One's in kindergarten and one's at a little school. But it's always like the ups and downs, and then a curveball is thrown at you because so and so got sick at school, and I got to go run over here, and my husband's going here to go grab who knows who, and make it work. Because I think that the community aspect of how you take care of yourself and how you're able to be present for your family and for your, and for your jobs and for, anything else that is important to you, like health wise, thinking about what we all can do for ourselves in order to be able to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of other people. There's, all of those different elements that can sometimes feel, at least to me, sometimes like an extra pressure that I have to think through of like, oh, I need to prioritize this in my own schedule. I need to prioritize, this call and all of the things, instead of slowly chipping away and doing the best we can and having this amazing community around us to support us, whether or not it's organizations like RVWA or, any other things that we're involved in, but choosing things very intentionally so that you're involved in the things that you really care about. And all of those things can work together to be able to really elevate your life as a whole. But
yeah,
Brenda,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to jump in, Brenda, but I was just gonna build off that. Another thing, I do think it's important to learn what to say no to. And I think you were kind of headed there, and I've not done a good job of that in the past. And that's another tactic that there, especially when we're in leadership, there's so many demands on your time outside of the office, and you have to really be, you have to choose, because you can't do everything. And I read something once, like, unless it's like a hell yes, it's a no. And so I've been trying to be better about that, and saying no has actually helped a lot in achieving more balance at home and here.
I love that, like actually putting a gauge against what your yes looks like. And if you're mediocre, it's probably got to go.
Right.
So all in or not in at all. That's great. Brenda, what about you?
I am not good at this. So I am, so much of what Toby said just resonated with me. And this is probably one of the instances where don't do as I say and not as I do, because I don't set a great example for work-life balance. I probably traveled 42, 43 weeks last year on the road. But this was a year that I decided that I was going to do less of that and more of, because it not only for my personal life, but also just for professional effectiveness. If you're in airports all the time and on the road and going and doing, there's other things that fall through the cracks. But I couldn't do it without, obviously, my supportive partner. Like I've talked about, he's the rock and he does it, but I have a responsibility to the people that I work with to show up sometimes in a different way. The things I've stopped doing is emailing overnight. I'm sure many of you know, if you get that 1 to 3 wake up, the kind of open schedule where you're awake, and magnesium is now my friend, but where you're like, I no longer respond to emails in the middle of the night. I tried not to call people after hours and just be really thoughtful about that. taking time away to just recharge, right? Whether it's a long extended weekend. Unfortunately, in the industry that and the part of the business that I support, we're sales driven. So, you know, our business is happening when people are typically off and wanting to do things and enjoy time with their family. But yeah, not something I've been great at historically, something I'm definitely working on. And I know for me to be the best version of myself and to be the best mom and the best wife and the best leader, the best coworker, the best employee, whatever, I have to do a better job at finding that balance. Things that I love to do in my personal life, I'm a sports fanatic. I'm a little sad right now. Congratulations to all of you. If you still have a team in basketball, I do not. So go Braves. We've moved on to baseball now, but I love sports. I think there's something about sports and competitiveness and community and discipline. And, you know, I often talk about some of the best folks to hire are previous college athletes or former military, right? Just the self-discipline and what that is. So yeah, I think, unfortunately, Ashton, I can't set a positive tone on that because I haven't done it, but it's something I'm working on. I'm a work in progress for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that we all are. I think that there's, you know, I listen to various podcasts and some of the other things than, you know, different books that I'm reading. And I'm like, oh, I can grab like that little nugget today. And I could try to put that piece into action in my own life. And even if it's just one thing that I can grab, I think that that's sometimes it's a habit. It's a small thing that can become a habit that can end up being highly impactful. So I'm always looking for the nuggets. It might not be like a massive change, but at least if there's little things I can continue to be aware of and chip away at, it helps.
Yeah, I think Toby mentioned like different podcasts. Isn't it so awesome to have all this content on demand now for whatever it is that you might be experiencing or what that is, to be able to just have that connection or validation so that you can find a path forward. So yeah, a lot of similarities there.